Hey guys, what's up? I am back again with another video. This week, or this time, I'm going over this. This is a Pip-Boy modeled after Fallout 3 and New Vegas, and it was made out of one of these. Specifically, this part, I cut from about here to here, and I kept that. And I went ahead and cut it in half on both sides. That way, you get more of that half circle type of shape that it's supposed to have. And the inside I did pad with foam. I folded it over itself. Now, okay, so for the structure of this, I used a box that was cardboard paper. I used more cardboard paper here, as well as on the inside of there, foam for the dial, cardboard on the bottom, and just so that you know, cardboard paper is a tougher type of material. It's like cardboard, but it's thinner. But at the same time, it's got a lot more strength and ply than construction paper, for example. These buttons are pressable, but there is a part down here that is made with cardboard paper again. This bigger part up top was made with foam, specifically the thicker foam that I have. This was all made with cardboard and cardboard paper, and it was covered in foam. The screen was made out of a bit of plastic from the side of a brown plastic root beer bottle, which is how I got the curve of the screen. The dial here was made out of a cap from a plastic soda bottle. And, well, let me just say it like this. I really like the way this turned out. It fits, and it's good. However, that said, I still need to do things with it. I need to put a latch on this side, and I need to put some hinges on this side, either in the middle or towards the sides. That way I can connect the latch here on this side and the hinges there on that side. That way I can actually get it to be just like the one in the game. Or I could do, instead of hinges, I could go with some elastic straps, which, while they would work, it wouldn't quite fit into the aesthetic of that industrial type of feel that you get from the games. Now, you might be wondering about the color, why it's more of a greenish. Okay, so originally I mixed a little bit of yellow acrylic with kind of a hazelnut color to try and get the, like, construction, like hard hat type of color. More of that industrial yellow, brown type of thing. That didn't work out, okay? And here's why. I actually ended up using a little bit too much hazelnut. And again, they were both acrylics. I went over it with a little bit of brown for the kind of dirtier aesthetic. If you end up doing a video like this, or a Pip-Boy like this, or like one of these models specifically, I would suggest that you go over it with spray paint first, and here's why. Now, the acrylic, if you don't wait as long as you need to, it will decide it's going to want to mix, which isn't good for the colors that you want it to be. Now, that said, it did turn out a good grimy type of military green, which is pretty good, actually. It's more like the one in Fallout 76, which is not what I was going for. But if you're going by, like, game lore, they did have military models for these. So, I mean, it's not that industrial yellow-brown that I was wanting. But it did turn out pretty good, and it does fit. I gotta say, for all the stuff that I've worked on, this one's kind of good. Actually, pretty cool. For all the... What I was meaning to say was, for all the time I was working on this, it actually turned out pretty cool. Now, I think the only problem that I have with this so far is the paint. More than likely, most likely, I'm going to go over it in a different type of yellow, and then I'm going to do brown. And by yellow, I mean spray paint. when I was working on this, I had to use acrylics because it was colder outside. You can't use spray paint in the cold. It's bad for the can, and it can cause harm to either the project you're working on or you. So, a little bit of a tip out there for those who didn't know. But anyway, this is the Pip-Boy. I don't have a logo yet. I've actually been thinking about how to do that. I might etch it on with a Dremel, or kind of easier, but at the same time, it would be quite a bit trickier. I might use hot glue for the cursive of the Pip-Boy logo. Now, that doesn't sound good in theory, but I've been thinking about it, and hot glue does go into a bumpier type of thing when you actually use it. More than likely, I'm going to go with the Dremel route, though. Again, if you're going to make one of these, or, any type of model, maybe you have a problem with the size. Personally, my wrist could fit in here, and, that was pretty good. It had just enough spacing for the padding on the inside. Now, if you have a smaller wrist size, I would suggest going with the normal large, not the extra, because then, well, I went with the extra because it has enough space for padding. Now, if you're going to do that, if you're going to do a smaller size, make sure there's enough space for padding, because that's a really important part, because if you don't have the padding, then it doesn't turn out right. However, if it's too small and you do have the padding, then it turns out like way too tight for your wrist. So keep an eye out for that type of stuff. Now, if you have a bigger wrist and you're thinking this isn't enough, this isn't a decent size for you, I would suggest try to go over it with either a thinner ply of cardboard or thin foam, just for a base, and then go over it with thicker and thicker. That way you can, put more form to the base, and you can have the base for your wrist. And if you're going to do that, make sure, and I cannot stress this enough, make sure there's enough room for padding, because I've done projects in the past, again, before I started the channel, but I've done projects in the past where I got done with a specific section, and man, I learned the hard way after putting padding on that putting padding on made it tighter. And that's not too bad. You can slip your wrist in. Slipping your wrist, or slipping your entire wrist with your hand out, that's another story. It becomes hard after that. So, that's what I have on the Pip-Boy so far. I'm probably going to do a part 2, more than likely. And, well, anyway, you all have a good day, good night, whenever it is you're watching this. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you end up liking this video. Maybe put a few comments down there in that little section. And, well, God bless.